Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So this week for my bonus Arrow and Flash video, I wanted to talk about my top 10 favorite characters. I'm going to exclude Oliver and most of Team Arrow because they would just hog like half the list, and there's a bunch of other characters that deserve to be mentioned. I am still catching up after being gone for a couple days, so instead of doing a separate Flash video, I'm just going to include an update about, some new things that we learned in this video. So if you're finding me for the first time, I do Marvel and DC videos every week. Be sure to subscribe to get everything, and feel free to leave me suggestions for bonus video topics. So before we do Arrow real quick, let's do that Flash update. The big news is that producers confirmed John Wesley Shipp was playing Barry Allen's father, Harry Allen. He's going to be in several episodes. In the comics, his character dies in prison, so either the show is just going to use him in a lot of flashbacks, or they're going to change the comic story so that he can be alive in present day. Either way, it's confirmed. So now let's talk about our favorite Arrow characters this season, starting with number 10, Dr. Ivo. Such a huge villain from the comics, I got really excited when I heard he was going to be on the show. They opted to dial him way back from his comic book persona and make him more of a tragic villain at the end of his rope. They did humanize him eventually, teasing his daughter and his wife, but the biggest Easter egg was the Amazo boat. Amazo, for those who don't know, is an android from DC Comics. He's a Justice League villain who's kind of like an analog of Marvel's Ultron. Amazo can mimic anyone's powers, so think of like the future Sentinels from Days of Future Past, the ones that just mimicked other people's powers. I was a little disappointed that they didn't tease, the Amazo android, but because season 2 was all about this Mirakuru plot, I understand why they dialed those things back. Everyone also started kind of wondering whether he was secretly Felicity's father. I think given what the producers have said and the things that went down, that is not the case, and Felicity's dad is going to turn out to be someone even cooler. And more to those comic book Easter eggs, it's totally possible that Ivo could have been working on other research that we just did not see on screen. The way I think about comic book stuff is like this. If you do not see it on the show, and none of the actors and producers ever talk about it, there's still a chance that it could happen in the future. So we could totally see an android somewhere down the line, but until a producer or someone behind the show says absolutely not, it's still a possibility. It's still floating around somewhere in an imaginary closet. Number 9, Sebastian Blood as Brother Blood from the comics. Kevin Alejandro really came into his own the second half of the season. They did turn a lot of the demonic aspects of the character from the comics into metaphorical ones, and Brother Blood revealed that he wore that mask as a way to conquer demons. So it was a slight homage to some of the origins in the comics. On the show, I felt like his character became more of an analog for the Scarecrow in the Dark Knight trilogy, a scientist with a formula. Before he learned all the details about the Mirakuru, I actually thought the League of Assassins was helping him with it, just because of the fear toxin from Batman Begins. A lot of you guys also asked me whether or not I thought he survived those stab wounds from Isabel at the end of the season, and I'll say it again, unless we see a severed head or the producers confirm he's dead, he can totally come back. Just think comic book logic. Number 8, Malcolm Merlyn. I think the real crime on Arrow this year was that John Barrowman did not get more episodes. And based on what's going to be happening in season 3, it sounds like the writers agree. John Barrowman was upgraded to cast regular for season 3, meaning he's going to be in most of the episodes, like more than half of them, which is 12 or 13. Even though he only got to appear a handful of times in season 2, he's one of the most memorable actors playing one of the most memorable Green Arrow villains. He's essentially meant to be a foil for Oliver, like the darkest timeline version of Oliver. That's why whenever we start talking more about Oliver's journey in season 3, we'll be able to start figuring out some of what Merlyn's going to be doing. One of my biggest predictions for season 3 is that Oliver's going into rebuilding mode, and he's just going to be focusing on the core Team Arrow. Stephen Amell even said that Oliver and Laurel haven't really addressed the big WTF secret identity in the room yet, so that makes me think she's not going to formally become a member of Team Arrow at least till later in the season. So all that just means that Merlyn is probably going to be in rebuilding mode too, and Thea's just going to be the first new member of his team. Thematically, I always like it better when each character has an opposite, like Oliver and Malcolm. I think we can call Thea Roy's new opposite. I'm sure he's going to be really happy to learn about that. Number 7, Sin. How can you not love Roy and Sin during the second half of the season? I was really bummed she didn't get more episodes, and she was kind of kept out of the loop on everything. She didn't know anything about the Mirakuru, Sarah never told her about the League of Assassins, and they never really addressed what her character would be doing once she was on her own again. It was only implied, but I think eventually we'll see her helping Roy with missions in season 3. Plus, there's always the possibility of Young Justice spin-off. She could totally become a part of that if it ever happens. I would say my favorite Sin moment was when she and Roy tried to fight crime together. That was hilarious. Number 6, Roy as Arsenal. My opinion of his character did a major 180 from the beginning of the season to the end. That's just the magic of a character arc. Laurel was on one too, but I liked Roy's more. Almost homeless dude gets injected with super serum, overcomes it, becomes member of mini Justice League team. If only it were that simple in real life. My favorite Roy moments were training with Oliver and when he was first trying to figure out his powers after episode 10. Getting that montage of heroes playing with their powers right after they get them is so much fun, and I think we're going to get that in The Flash. Number 5, Nyssa Al Ghul. One of the best new female characters on the show. She was a master assassin that could match Oliver in a fight, had the might of Ra's al Ghul at her back, and in an interesting twist was one of the only LGBT characters this season. She was so awesome, there is no way the show is not bringing her back. My favorite Nyssa moment was actually a funny one. It was when she had that standoff moment with Felicity at the end of the season. It almost looked like she was looking at Felicity as a sex object, like she was sexually attracted to her while she was sizing her up. Tumblr, I am going to task you with making that reaction gif. Number 4, Sarah Lance as the Canary. Katie Lotz had the hard task of stepping in between Laurel and Oliver as a romantic foil, but I got so excited when I saw her as the Canary for the first time. It took the first half of the season to figure out where her character was headed, and yes, I do wish she could have spent more time teaming up with Oliver on missions, but I also like the way she interacted with some of the rest of the team. She had this really funny relationship with Felicity that went from distrust all the way to mutual respect by the end. There was a brief moment when I thought she was going to out Felicity, but spoiler alert, that's impossible. There is only one quirky tech genius on Team Arrow, and she went to MIT. Sarah could always come back on the show as part of a League of Assassins story or as part of a Laurel story, but for the most part, I think that she's off the show. I'm really happy that they did leave the character's exit very open-ended, as in she did not die. But passing that Black Canary jacket onto Laurel is just heavy foreshadowing. Number 3, Amanda Waller. Hands down biggest new non-villain badass on the show. I say non-villain, but she's really a neutral figure in the DC universe. She serves the government, ultimately, so sometimes that takes her against superheroes like Oliver. She tied up a few big plots from Season 1 and created a whole bunch of new ones during Season 2 that will inform all of those Hong Kong flashbacks in Season 3. She's like one of those Halo characters that the show will probably never kill just because they're way too interesting. Stephen Amell also confirmed one of our biggest theories. Amanda Waller was in fact the woman with the red shoes behind the whole Edward Fires China plot. In case you forgot, they were trying to decimate China's economy, which kind of explains why she was in Hong Kong. One of the biggest things that I'm looking forward to in Season 3, though, is the Hong Kong flashbacks telling the history of Amanda Waller and Oliver's relationship. Number 2, Barry Allen. Never has a new character so naturally become a member of Team Arrow since Felicity Smoke. Just talking about the character first, Barry was the perfect call to action for Oliver in the first half of the season. He's the one that gave him that Green Arrow mask. Like, he helped Oliver make a giant leap forward in his hero's journey. Obviously, there's all the spin-off stuff going off to the side. The CW has actually commented that after the pilot episode, they feel like The Flash is their strongest new show in the last 10 years, next to Arrow. There's a lot of reasons for that, but having a very fun and positive lead character like Barry Allen makes it a lot easier to shoot a show that people can get really excited about. I thought Grant Gustin was amazing as Barry Allen. I didn't have a lot of preconceived notions, but the only thing I'd seen him do before this was be on Glee, and he was kind of an antagonist on that show. I don't see a lot of villain inside Barry Allen, but I'm interested to see how he uses his experience playing an antagonist to add some complexity to the character. I think of him being more of a tortured person, but if we're comparing grumpy superheroes, Oliver would win every time, hands down. Barry is like this hyperactive superhero fanboy. So if you actually just look at the way they shot the Flash trailer, everything's in like bright daylight as opposed to like the really dark noir scenes that you see in the Gotham TV show and on Arrow. So the Flash is going to be a much more positive show based on that. And my number 1 Arrow character in Season 2, Deathstroke. Manu Bennett is just an amazing actor and had 2 full years to develop his Slade Wilson character. The Deathstroke persona didn't really develop until Season 2, and even then it really didn't manifest until halfway through the season. He's going to go down as one of the best villains in any DC show, which creates some interesting problems for Season 3. I'm actually really hoping that the show uses him as like a Hannibal Lecter character next season, like Oliver goes to him for advice on whoever the new villain is. I actually asked you guys to submit your fan art of Slade as Hannibal, so high fives to Summit Shetty for submitting this fan art of Slade as Hannibal. Very, very cool. I will probably be doing more fan art submissions for other shows in the future for anyone who's interested. But I realized I had to leave a ton of awesome characters off the list. So now it's your turn. Let me know in the comments who was your favorite character in Season 2 and what was your favorite scene from them. I'm still catching up after being out of town for 4 days, but tomorrow I'm still doing my regular Arrow and Flash Q&A and a Maleficent review if I can see it early enough. Be sure to subscribe to get everything. If I don't get to Maleficent Thursday night, then that second video is either going to be Marvel or Star Wars that I just had to skip on Tuesday. But I'm definitely doing Maleficent before the weekend. So right now, click here to learn more about Arrow Season 3 and The Flash Season 1. And click here for my X-Men Days of Future Past review. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. High fives.